What's goody? Hey man, so as I'm sure most of y'all know, last night the official full 2025 NBA All-Star rosters came out. So I'm gonna be look at the dog, bro. We just got the couch in today. I'm recording this video on the couch. The dog is having the time of his life on this couch as long as he doesn't do nothing stupid. Pierre, get down. Come here, get down. I don't know what he's doing. Anyways, what I'm going to be doing today is reacting to the full. Bro, you're gonna get off the couch, bro. Stop. So what I'm going to be doing today is reacting to the full NBA All-Star rosters and everything like that. I already know who the starters were. I already saw that list and everything like that because I was actually going to make a video about it. But I decided not to. I decided to just wait and just make it one video so that way it didn't seem like I was just kind of stretching it for content. So with that being said, here are the full list of NBA All-Star starters and the full rosters and the full reserve list after that. I'm going to be showing y'all who I think got snubbed or telling y'all who I think got snubbed and why. I'm going to be telling y'all if I'm excited for the All-Star game, if I'm not excited. It's a new format this year. If you don't know, I'm thinking this article explains the format, which I'm not going to go into too much. But what I'm pretty sure it is just like three different teams that are NBA, that are like the All-Stars, and it's one team that's like the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge, or the Rising Stars game, I'm sorry. And then it's like those teams compete in like a 2-games tournament or something like that, and the winner is the winner of the All-Star game or something like that. I don't know how it's going to be. I think it's an interesting idea, and I like that the NBA is at least trying to do something about the All-Star game, but we'll see. But let's jump right into it, man. For the Eastern Conference, the starters are Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, right off the bat, we knew Tatum was going to be one. We knew Giannis was going to be one. We knew Donovan Mitchell was going to be one. Tatum and Mitchell are on the two best teams in the East. They're the best players on the two best teams in the East, and Jason Tatum is the best player on the defending champions. Giannis Antetokounmpo is arguably the best player in the world. Karl-Anthony Towns has been on an absolute burner. Now, I agree, and I completely believe that. What is he licking that blanket for? I agree, and I completely believe that Karl-Anthony Towns deserves to be an all-star starter. I think he's having a phenomenal season, and I believe he has been the best player on the Knicks for much of this season. The Jalen Brunson thing is interesting because there are other guys that have been having great seasons. Like, you could argue Darius Garland, maybe. You could argue Damian Lillard, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could argue some other guys, but here's what I'll say about that. No way the Bucks should have two starters instead of the Knicks, is what I'll say. So if you're one of those guys that believes it should be a Damian Lillard, for example, no way they should have two all-star starters over the Knicks. They shouldn't have even had the two that they had last year because Damian Lillard should not have started last year, so I'm not mad at this. Western Conference, Stephen Curry. I don't care what you say. Stephen Curry is still Stephen Curry. If it wasn't for Luka being hurt, he probably wouldn't be here, but it's still Stephen Curry. I'm not mad at it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, in my opinion, is the MVP right now. LeBron James, he's LeBron. You knew that was going to happen. Kevin Durant, he's Kevin Durant. You knew that was going to happen. And Nikola Jokic is arguably the best player on the world on a good team, and you knew that was going to happen too. No problems with the Western Conference starters. Now, here's where things get interesting. Eastern Conference reserves: Jaylen Brown, Pascal Siakam, Darius Garland, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Damian Lillard, Tyler Herro. Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Jaylen Brown, I have zero problems with it all. Honestly, Damian Lillard, zero problems with it all. Tyler Herro, he has been the best player on the Miami Heat this season. The Miami Heat are what? Let's see what the NBA standings are as things sit, because the NBA standings are always changing. So let's see what the Miami Heat are before I say what I'm about to say. Okay, the Miami Heat are the 6th seed. Here's what I'll say. Hold on. One more thing, because I want to make sure I'm not about to just say something foolish or biased or whatever. So I just want to say one quick thing. So we know Tyrese Halliburton's been having a rough season. I did not expect the Pacers to get him as an all-star. I'm not mad that he's not an all-star. But I didn't think the Pacers were going to get an all-star at all. I did not think either him or Siakam would be an all-star this year. Siakam's averaging 27 and 4 with 53, 40, and then 74 splits. Okay, that's not bad at all. Tyler Herro, averaging 25, 6, and 5.5 on 47, 40, 87 splits. Now, I personally believe that if you have to pick between one of these two guys to be the starters, the Tyler Herro and the Pascal Siakam, I believe you should pick Tyler Herro. I understand the Heat are one game below them in the standings and everything like that, but he has been undeniably the best player on the Heat this season. He has been having a phenomenal year. The Heat are doing good. Granted, the Pacers are doing pretty good too, but the Heat have had a whole lot of drama and everything like that. Now, the Pacers started off slow, but Tyrese Halliburton's also picked it up recently. It hasn't just been Pascal Siakam, so I'm not mad at the list over here. But here's what I will say. LaMelo Ball averaging 28 points per game and not making it is a crime. I don't care how bad his team is. It's the All-Star game. The man had the fan vote. It's just the media and the coaches, I guess, just weren't rocking with him. I don't care. I believe he deserves to be an All-Star. Who do you take out? Who do you take him out? Who do you take out for him? If it has to be a guard, then I'm taking out Darius Garland. And I know it sounds crazy for the best team in the East to not have. But see, Evan Mobley would still be an All-Star, though. So they would still have 2 All-Stars. I'm taking out Darius Garland if it has to be a guard that I'm taking out. What Cade Cunningham is doing with the Detroit Pistons right now is too good to be taken out. Damian Lillard's having a good season. He does not deserve to be taken out. Let me make sure I'm not just basing it off the games with Damian Lillard that I've watched. Let me make sure I'm basing it off of his whole season. Let me just make sure I'm not being biased and just saying that, yeah, averaging 25, 5, and 7.5. Bro, look at the man's having a great season. He's 45, 40. He's 45, 38, 90, 92 or whatever that said. Like, he's having a phenomenal season. I believe that if you have to pick between Darius Garland and LaMelo Ball, I would think I'm giving the nod slightly to LaMelo Ball. Jalen Johnson not being here is interesting for the Hawks. Trae Young not being here is interesting for the Hawks. I would honestly probably give it to Trae Young or LaMelo Ball over Darius Garland, low-key. Low-key. But like I said, it's not a bad list. I mean, there's always people that you could argue are snubs, right? Like Jalen Johnson averaging damn near 20 and 10. He might be at 20 and 10, I'm not sure. But like him, you could argue it's a snub. There's probably other people over here on the East that I'm not thinking about, but there's also injuries and stuff, so I'm not sure. The Sixers not having one is hilarious. Again, they've had injuries and stuff, but it's just hilarious. Western Conference. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves, no problem. Anthony Davis, Lakers, no problem. Jaren Jackson Jr., Grizzlies, no problem. Al Prince Sengun, Rockets, no problem. Victor Wembanyama, Spurs, no problem. James Harden and Jalen Williams. Here's what I'll say about James Harden. The Clippers are like the 5 seed in the West right now. The Clippers are having a phenomenal season. They're the 6 seed in the West right now. They're half a game behind the Lakers. They're having a phenomenal season. Whether you want to argue between him or Norman Powell, I don't really care which one you want to say because I believe that one of them deserves to be an All-Star, so I'm going to say no problem there. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been the best player on the Memphis Grizzlies this season. I wasn't sure if the fans were going to vote for him enough for him to get it over Ja Morant, but obviously he ended up getting it, so good for him. Alfred Sengun is the best player on the Rockets team. That's what, the 3rd seed right now, the 2 seed right now. And same thing with Jaren Jackson. He's the best player on the team. That's the 3 seed in the West. J-Dub, 2nd best player on arguably the best team in the league. Record-wise, they might be the best team in the league. If not, they're right behind Cleveland. I think they actually might have surpassed Cleveland. I'm not sure, though. 2nd best player on the top 2-3 team in the league by most people's account. I don't hate it. But if it had to be like a big man, like a forward or a center, I don't know if it could be a center, but if it could be a center, I kind of would prefer for it to be Sabonis. Is there anyone else that I would probably want to see here? I mean, yeah, there's the Norman Powells, but I would kind of like to see Sabonis or De'Aaron Fox here. I think it should probably be Sabonis based on the year he's had. So I would like to see Sabonis here, but if it can't be a center in place of J-Dub, is there anyone that off the top of my head that I would rather it be? If it has to be like a wing player, it has to be like a forward in place of J-Dub. I don't think there's anyone. I think there's a talk here about, snubs. Yeah, nothing crazy. So, yeah, I mean, listen, here's what I'll say. Honestly, you could, like I said, there's always times where you could argue that, hey, man, these guys were snubbed or this guy was snubbed or whatever. This team doesn't deserve to have 2 All-Stars. This team, even though they're bad, deserves to have one like I believe the Hornets do. The good teams, the best players on the best teams are always going to have a chance, right? If you are the best player on a number 1 seed, you're probably going to be an All-Star. You are more than likely going to have at least 1 All-Star from that team, even if it's like a team that isn't like a huge market team like the Hawks in 2015 when they had 4 All-Stars. Atlanta's a pretty big market, but it wasn't as big at that time as it is now. They have 4 All-Stars. They have 4 All-Stars because they were the 1 seed, even though we all knew they weren't as good as they looked, as good as their record was. So whatever, right? That stuff happens. Sometimes it's going to happen. I'm not mad at it. You're always going to have the popular players, the LeBrons, the Currys, the Kevin Durants. They're popular because they're legends. They're always going to get it. You're always going to have the best players in the game. The Giannis's, the Jokic's, those guys. They're always going to be in the Shays. They're always going to be in it. So then it's always like those 1 to 2 spots at the end. That's every All-Star game. Oh, it could have been this guy, should have been this guy. I might have that debate. Oh, this guy that's a reserve should have been a starter. Those are the debates. It's really picking at hairs. I'm more interested to see if the All-Star format is going to work out more than anything else. So y'all let me know what y'all think about not only the All-Star starters and the All-Star reserves, but also the format itself and how you think it's going to work out. I'm excited for All-Star Weekend, kind of, just because I want to see how that new format is going to work out. Other than that, I'm not really excited for that much, to be honest. So I'm not really that excited for it. But yeah, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the videos. Helps me out a ton, helps the channel out a ton, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank y'all, man.